So this is Crash 1 NST. The category is all gems. The objective here is just to get all the gems and
do the secret ending.
do the secret ending. I just split even though I don't have live split open.
Yep, this is essentially the
It's like an homage to the original 100% category, except it includes Stormy Ascent.
yeah. And also, because of the way they changed Crash 1 for NST, is that now all bonus rounds are required as well.
Yeah. And I'm gonna use Coco even though we didn't meet the incentive, just because.
Were we supposed to start? Okay, the timer started. So right. So since we just came off of an OG Crash 1, a lot's gonna be similar. So we don't have to discuss too much about like level layout and stuff.
Yeah, I mean this level is pretty straightforward. You just get invincibility, and
that is one big difference in NST compared to Crash 1 is that invincibility is actually a huge deal.
Yeah, almost every single invincibility in this category is like really helpful.
Yeah. So in NST, invincibility actually boosts Crash's base running speed. So you can see now that he has an invincibility, he is running significantly faster. And because of that, you just want to get invincibility as much as you can. It's like some few exceptions where it might not be useful.
It's useful everywhere in this category. Any percent of this game has a few spots where it's not useful, but in this category, you want to grab everyone that you can, pretty much.
The only one I can think of where it might not be useful is in Rolling Stones, where it might destroy one of the Brio tokens. But
yes, yeah, you actually don't. Yeah, you're right. Actually, you don't use it there.
That's the only place I can think of where it's not good.
You don't use it at the beginning of Rolling Stones. So in the original, in Jungle Rollers, you could get this gem on the first try. You can't do that here because invisible walls. So we have to go through the 80% pass and come back to this later.
Yeah, they were very nice to us and they put an invisible wall there. So you can't actually stand on the platform to get there.
Yeah. This kind of level will kind of showcase the movement that you want to use, like in the 80% passes. You really want to hug corners and turns, and that's kind of the basic movement in Crash 1 compared to the OG, where you jump and you zigzag and you do the spins.
Zigzagging in NST actually makes Crash slower because in turning in the air, it slows you down, so
yeah.
It's not beneficial in this game.
And hugging turns.
Another thing to note is that even though we're doing an 80% pass of this level, you still want to break as many boxes as you can because the screen at the end of the game or at the end of the level where all the boxes falls on Crash's head cannot be skipped, so you want to make it as short as possible. So you break as many boxes in one path as you can.
Yeah, that's pretty important to do. Each box is about 0.1 to 0.2 seconds, so you want to be breaking as many as you can, but you don't want to go out of your way in any of the 80% passes either.
Yeah. They're not a huge time save, but it adds up, so if there's any along the path, you might as well break them, but if you miss any, or there's some that are out of the way, it's not worth going back to.
Exactly. Yo, Josh,
the next level is the Great Gate, and this actually does have a Great Gate skip in this game, but it's kind of tricky to pull off.
It's a very precise jump. It's not free like in the OG.
Yeah, so I would assume that Cameron's gonna go for it, but if he misses and accidentally leaves the level, then we'll just...
Yeah, if I mess it up and accidentally leave a level, I'm just gonna continue, but I'm definitely gonna be going for it. Thanks on the good luck, everybody.
This will also be the first bonus round that we see, because the N.Sane Trilogy fixed a lot of the work with Crash 1 that made it different from the later games. And one of those was the bonus rounds not counting for box completion.
Right, and it counts in this game.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that makes all gems a pretty neat category compared to the original Crash 1, is that you get to see all the bonus rounds. And a lot of them actually have really cool layouts.
Yeah, the bonus rounds are really fun to optimize, and that's probably the best part about this category. And why I highly suggest anyone who has the game to learn the category. The bonuses are like A1.
In my honest opinion, this is one of the best categories in NST. And the funny thing is that it wasn't even a category when the game was made. It was made because Kane and Pocky kept doing it, and everybody was like, "Oh, we should make this an actual category." And someone in the NS team would be like, "No." Eventually, it got enough like protesting that it became.
Alright, so here's the moment of truth. See if we can get the Great Gate skip or not. Nice.
You get it?
Yep.
Nice. Oh, the best case scenario in a marathon. Oh, and you got it first try. So with that Great Gate skip, the 3 scenarios that could happen would be you get it, which is obviously the best, and then there's you miss and you fall, which is like you lose time but you can still like try again, and then there's the worst case scenario where you accidentally leave the level. But basically the way the skip works is that there's a small section on the corner of the level or of the platform where you can stand and not leave the level, and there's one on each side of the platform, so you have to jump onto one corner and then jump over the trigger that takes you out of the level and jump onto the next corner, and then from there you can continue.
I could have went there, but I didn't realize what the cycle was on. You'll notice earlier I damage abuse with my masks. Boulders is next, and that takes away your mask, so you might as well use them to damage abuse in this level. I waited on that fire because it's usually going when I get there, but that time it wasn't. I keep reaching to split, but I don't have my splits up.
Yeah.
So Boulders is next, and Boulders is a very straightforward level. You just hug the turns, and that's the only way to go faster in the level, is to hug the turns.
The boulder also breaks the crates for you
Yes.
in this game. So for the ones that are along the path, you actually don't have to go for them.
Yeah, you don't have to go out of your way for them. In the OG, it wouldn't break certain ones.
Yeah. In the OG, Crash 1, it actually wouldn't break any of them. Crash 2, it would break some of them and then leave some behind also.
But yeah, hugging like turns and staying near the edge of the level is like, for levels like this, for boulders and other levels that go forward and backwards, it's best to try and hug the turns as much as possible, because that moves a level forward just a little bit faster. I argue it saves like a second or two overall compared to just walking down the level straight.
That's the thing with NST Crash 1 is that because there's no zigzagging, and because Crash doesn't have access to slide and things like he does in Crash 2 and Crash 3, the movement is very simple, so a lot of the optimization comes from like these little corner cuts, and then like getting masks when you can.
Yeah, it's very precise. It's a lot different from Crash 2 and 3 in that regard.
It's very simple and straightforward, but it takes a lot of knowledge to optimize, and Cameron's done an extremely good job of optimizing it, especially any percent.
The next few levels are going to be any percent passes. Obviously, upstream skip is not in this game, thank God.
Yeah,
so we don't have to worry about that ever.
Yeah, I think the only other level in this first pass of the island one that we're gonna get the gem in is Hog Wild.
Yes. We'll only get it in Hog Wild. So we'll be doing a lot of any percent passes here. You'll see some of the small optimizations that you can do. Upstream being one of them, you can skip the very first leaf cycle. Like that.
Yeah, if you spawn immediately and you like hug the right side of the platform a little bit, and then you just make a really big jump, you can skip that leaf cycle.
If you're fast enough, you can snipe that fish into the TNT, which saves a little time as well.
A strat that I, for whatever reason, I'm not good at doing.
It takes, you know, it's just how, depends on how fast you get there and where the fish cycle is. It's a pretty straightforward level. You just want to jump off the leaves as soon as you can.
Yeah, the levels in Crash 1 are very, very linear even compared to Crash 2 and Crash 3, so a lot of them are just really straightforward. And that's just a factor of how the game was designed when it was first made.
So next up we have the first boss fight of the game. It's Papu Papu. It's a little bit different from the original as he takes more hits. And originally he takes 3, in this game he takes 5.
Yeah, he takes 5, which was carried over from the Japanese version of the original game, where they gave Papu more hit points to make him harder to fight, but he's still pretty easy. And there's a nice trick at the beginning where you can bounce on him right when the boss fight starts. You don't have to wait for him to swing his hammer down.
Shout out to Dust for finding that one.
The one contribution Dust claims to have made.
To crash one NST. The only way to save time here is to jump on him as soon as possible. Basically, as he's bringing his hammer down, you want to jump on his head.
There's also a thing where after you knock him out, you can actually stand within his body.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't
even
mention that.
Yeah, there's an animation at the end where after Crash spins and does like the double peace sign, he jumps onto Papu's tummy to like jump out of the ceiling.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and it takes longer the farther away you are from him. So if you are literally inside of him, it is as fast as it can possibly be. So.
Yeah, like standing right inside of Papu. Next is Rolling Stones. This is another level where just hugging turns and getting mask form is important. You'll see
mask form is super useful in this level.
You'll see some interesting cycle skips that I'll go for, and some scenery that I'll run on. It's a little bit faster. But we don't get the gem here either.
Yeah, this gem requires the blue gem, which you get way later on.
Yeah, you don't get the toxic waste. So doing that makes this cycle a lot more free, and then there's a cycle later on as well that'll
I actually wasn't even aware of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Scenery is really weird in the N.Sane Trilogy, in that there are some places where you would have been able to jump on the scenery in the original game, but then there's no scenery there in the N.Sane Trilogy. But then there are some places where the scenery is still a thing and it's very helpful. It's very odd.
And doing that lines up this cycle very well. Just go right here, don't have to wait.
And of course there's naturally some scenery that's not helpful, but thankfully
this scenery right here is helpful though. Basically, since running in mask form is so, like, fast, jumping in it is slow, you don't get any speed from jumping while in it, so you want to run along the scenery, and you'll,
you want to remain grounded as much as you can while you have mask form.
You can run across the last scenery at the end with a pillar, but, I've actually found that it's not faster, because you can just, run straight onto the pillar and land, and it's actually risky. It's a lot harder to do the scenery one at the end. And you lose like 40 seconds if you die there, so I'm just not going to bother showing that off. Okay, next we have Hog Wild, which mentioned earlier. It's an auto-scroller, but in this game you can actually speed it up by just hopping the entire time.
Yeah, the last Hog in Hog Wild is also notoriously pretty annoying.
Yeah, you'll see how I deal with that when we get to it. But jumping here is a lot faster.
Every jump just like boosts your speed a little bit.
If you want to see somebody do this level really well, as far as NST runners, it's Step. He does it a lot better than I do. He jumps a lot more than me. I just jump enough. And there's a trick at the end of the level you can do where you can kill yourself off the last shield guy and fly into the portal, and you can get the gem and complete the level, but it doesn't save that much time, so I'm not going to go for it. It's pretty risky to go for. It's a lot better in any percent than this category. And even then, it's at about a half a second, so it's really not worth it in a marathon. Here you notice I'll stop jumping in order to make on this cycle. You want to zigzag there. It's actually one point where you do zigzag in this game.
Yeah, to slow you down, because this Hog has a really annoying hitbox. The way I do this is consistent but pretty unorthodox, and it's also slower because I don't hop at all throughout the level. So
yeah, I stop hopping after the second to last pig, and I generally just zigzag at the end there and make it every time.
Yeah, you saw he hugged the left. That's one way to avoid the Hog's hitbox. It's just weird. It's just got like a weird gigantic hitbox.
I would be disappointed too, Depp. But I'm not going to go for it in the marathon. It's pretty scary. Okay, so Native Fortress any percent pass is actually kind of interesting. There's a lot of fast rats that you can do here. As long as I don't mess them up. So far, so good. You want to get the mask at the beginning for damage boost later on. You don't get the gem here first, so I'm going to be ignoring most of the boxes.
Yeah, this level is rather infamous for being... It's got a difficulty spike to it.
Yeah, this is probably one of the harder levels in the run to do as fast as possible.
And it's in the first island.
We made the good cycles on the second floor, so that's good.
And NST like improved a lot of things over the original game from like a casual perspective in terms of like primitiveness, but one thing that couldn't be changed was that the game's difficulty fluctuates a lot.
Right.
So there's still like crazy random difficulty spikes in Native Fortress is probably the first notable example of that.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard level to get down as far as...
If it's not the first, then it's probably second to Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones is more just difficult to do super fast. Native Fortress is just a challenging level in general.
Yeah, casually and speedrunning wise, it's a pretty difficult level.
So what Cameron did there was that he damage abused through one of the spikes, and it gave him enough invincibility for him to just run up to the TNT and just spin through it.
It's a lot faster than standing there and spinning them, and it also guarantees fast cycles on the top layer, which you'll see. I'll spin across the 3 fires up here.
And so, cycles in this game and all the NST games, as far as I can tell, there aren't any.
I might get hit right here. Okay, I
there
didn't.
There are plenty of local ones that start when the level is like loaded, and there are also spawn cycles, which are just when you're within proximity of them.
Yeah, but so, every single level, as long as you do it the same, the cycles should be the same.
It's not anything like the original Crash one where, oh, I did heavy machinery slow, so my Cortex power is going to be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty nice in terms of practicing.
Yeah, I'm very thankful for that.
Practicing the original Crash one is a pain, and I think they had to do that because of the time trials. Like, if they were running on global cycles and the time trials, especially for Crash 1, it would be a huge nuisance.
That was a very solid 90% pass of Native Fortress. I got everything that you could go for.
Yeah, that looked amazing. So that's Island 1. We'll be coming back to it eventually because we left a lot of it behind, but that's just a factor of how the game was made.
Exactly.
You have to backtrack. You have to backtrack to like 3 or 4 levels in this island. And also something of note, this won't come up until like way later in the run, but when the run started, there was this little purple icon to the left of Insanity Beach. That's actually a teleporter that takes you to Stormy Ascent.
Yeah, we'll use that at the end.
Yeah, that makes the backtracking reroute different, whereas as opposed to going all the way to the beginning and working way up, you just move all the way backwards. And then.
So here's the second and last river level in the run. It's up the creek. We can actually get that gem here, so I'll be getting all the boxes, and it'll be the second bonus round that we see.
That's crazy. This is only the second bonus round.
Yeah. It's a pretty straightforward level as well. There's some small optimizations you can do, like getting that bonus token early. If you spin the bottom box first, you'll get it without having to stand there and wait for it.
Yeah, there's this weird quirk with all the collectible items, which is like all the Wumpa Fruit, the gems, the bonus icons, and lives, and everything, where after they spawn, there's like a short, like I want to say half a second to a second period where you actually can't pick them up, so a lot of times you have to wait on them.
Yeah, you'll see me, I do have to wait on one bonus token in this level. Unfortunately, you can't do anything about that. There's a fish knife for it, but it's kind of difficult to get.
It's most prominent with the bonus tokens, but in some levels it can be relevant with the gem. I think Road to Nowhere is probably a very common example of that, where if you're not paying attention, you can run right past the gem and finish the level without picking it up.
So what you just saw right there was the Up the Creek fast rats, where you jump on certain lily pads in order to make it back without having to wait for them to come back up. It's not too difficult to do once you know where to jump, but...
They also come back pretty quickly as well. Note that these high-definition fish look a lot more menacing.
There's some pretty cool fast rats you can do in this bonus, but I am not going to do them because they're inconsistent. There's a spin jump you can do on the top layer, but sometimes it doesn't work, so I'm not going to go for it.
Spin jumping is weird in NST. It's not as easy and straightforward as it is in the original, but it's still possible.
That was the first spin bounce you saw right there, where you can break 3 boxes at once. It's not the hardest trick to pull off, but it's very precise and requires practice.
I also find it's easier to do on bounce crates, so that could just be me.
It is easier to do on bounce crates. It's also easier to do if there's boxes underneath, because the boxes have really awkward and weird properties in this game.
Yeah, Crash 1 is the most prominent use of spin bouncing boxes, and Crash 1's not my forte, which is why Cameron's doing this run. In Crash 2 and Crash 3, spin bouncing is still a thing, but it's not nearly as prominent.
It's weird because of the height you can get on your jumps in those games.
Yeah, the height is different in Crash 2 and Crash 3. I think it comes up maybe once in Crash 2, and I'm going to be doing an 90% run, so we're not going to see it, and I don't do it anyway.
So here's Ripperoo. It's a pretty straightforward fight. You saw it earlier in Rebag's run. It's a little different strategy here, though. I'm only going to use 1 mask on him. That way I only have to grab 1 mask in Lost City. And there's a glitch you can get on Ripperoo. I'm going to go for it, but I might not get it. Yeah, I didn't get it. You can kill him on an exact frame, and he'll go backwards instead of forwards, and it saves a half a second, or a second and a half, rather.
There's also a consistent strat for Ripperoo that doesn't use any masks, and it loses time in the Ripperoo fight, but it might possibly save time in the Lost City. I don't think we know for sure yet, though.
It is pretty good in the Lost City, but you have to do the Lost City, like, very optimally for it to be worth. I tested it a little bit, but I didn't do the Lost City optimally with a mask, so...
So Lost City is the first level with a color gem, and color gems are the only in NST that you still have to get through without dying.
Right.
They fixed that overall in the remake, where if you die, it will still save your progress in the level, so you don't have to restart the level. But I guess they decided to make the color gems seem more special to keep that challenge in. Unfortunately, a lot of the levels with color gems are very hard levels, and Lost City is not a pushover level. It's also got 2 bonus rounds that are challenging
to do fast, yeah. You'll notice I grabbed the mask at the beginning. The reason I did that is so I could have 2 masks going into Temple Ruins, and the triple mask is extremely important in that level, in this category.
Just because there's a lot of like chunks of boxes that you can just break a lot quicker.
Yeah, it can save upwards. Not getting them versus getting triple mask, it saves like 12 seconds. So it's pretty important that I get them. Well, I got hit there, so I'm not going to get the first invincibility, which is unfortunate. Kind of got cocky right there. I fucked up. There's a quick cycle there you can do. It's pretty difficult. I messed it up a little bit.
You got the pole board jump.
And I fucked this up too. I'm gonna go for it again, just to show it off. You can jump from here to here. It's a specific timing though.
Lost City still definitely has a lot of cool things to it, and the bonus rounds in them are definitely very neat.
Yeah, the Tana bonus round here is pretty, at least for NST runners, it's pretty infamous for being a run killer.
Yeah, they're very challenging bonuses, and if you like die in the level, it's rip run for any percent, and if you die in the bonus round for Tana, it's also rip run. Essentially, it's a huge time loss.
The Embryo one isn't too difficult, but the Tana one is pretty difficult to optimize. I'm not going to go for all the strats that I normally go for in the Tana one.
He was actually able to leave one of those crates behind because the TNT have the big enough blast radius where they were going to blow it up for him.
Yep. Here I'm going to go for a fast cycle. It's pretty easy to get if you time your jumps right. You can just jump around this.
These guys are annoying, where if you spin them too early or at the wrong time, the game will, like, for whatever reason, reverse your direction.
Yeah, you have to wait for them for a second. You can jump around that lizard guy, but it actually doesn't matter, because you'll still make the cycle anyway. You'll just be a little early to it. So here's the Tana bonus. I'm not going to go for everything here, but I'm going to go for most things.
Yeah, this one has like hella crates, so spin bouncing is like super important in this one.
I'm gonna show as many spin bounces as I can. There you go.
Very nice.
That's a hard bonus to get down. You have to practice that one a lot. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent just grinding that bonus out and getting it down.
To put it in perspective, I hardly run Crash 1 and I have grinded that bonus round. It's that important.
It's just, you'll notice I waited there for that gem. Sometimes you can just walk right through that gem and not collect it. So I'm always safe and stand there and grab it.
That's the thing I was talking about, where you have to wait for some collectibles, or you have to wait for collectibles before you can pick them up, and it's prominent sometimes. That's a gem where it's definitely prominent.
Yeah, like, I have 2 or 3 times I've just walked right through it. So now I, like, just stand there and make sure I grab it.
Yeah. I've always, like, hesitated a little bit to grab that one.
So here's Temple Ruins. I won't get the first invincibility, which sucks, because it does save a lot of time on cycles and box breaking. But we will be able to get the second one still, which is a good invincibility to get as well. Want to make sure those snakes snipe those boxes. Sometimes you can miss one box. So you want to be sure the snakes actually snipe all the boxes. I might have been able to make that cycle, but I didn't risk it. If I don't get triple mass there, I usually can't make that cycle, so... We are getting all the boxes in this level. There's no bonus round in this level, so we don't have to do that. I'm going to wait on most of these fire cycles, because the invincibility is faster than doing any damage abuses. And invincibility in the next level is also important to carry over. Yeah, it's really good, and you'll see a cool strat that I do there with the invincibility. But this invincibility is good because you can just run through this secret path over here really quickly.
Yeah, the hint for the secret path in NST is a lot more blatant than in the original. In the original, there was one fruit, and then in NST, they show you 3. So it's like, hey, look at this.
So yeah, we'll get to carry these masks through to Road to Nowhere, which is really good. You can save a lot of time with these in Road to Nowhere if you do it optimally. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is showing off the rope jump. It's a pretty precise jump, and I'm going to be running along the rope with the mask form, which is extremely fast. It saves like 5 seconds versus not doing it.
Yeah, so running on the rope saves you from jumping along the planks for the bridge. So obviously, if you do that with a mask, then you go even faster because you're jumping less.
Yeah, so yeah, jumping is just slow in this game in general. Whereas in the original, ropes were slower, they're faster just for that reason alone in this game.
Yeah, it's also a bit tricky to do because the ropes have rather thin collision.
Yeah, the boxes are wonky.
Crash's hitbox in this game is pill-shaped, so sometimes you just slip off.
It is a very hard trick to pull off consistently. I'm gonna go for it here. Just show it off. There's one good one.
Also, apparently, from Cameron's practice yesterday, it's also harder to pull off as Coco.
Yeah, I was struggling. I missed one right there. I didn't pull over enough.
Yeah, you guys in your dishonorable hatred of Coco has saved this run.
I was actually going to grab Coco regardless, but I kind of forgot, so rip, it's too late.
It's fine. Currently, she's winning the bid war for Crash 2 by a landslide.
Nice, you'll get to see Coco then.
So you'll get to see Coco at the expense of probably 1 minute on my behalf. Coco is normally slower. Well, she's always slower.
She's slow in Crash 1 and 2.
Yeah, because you have to go to pick her up, and there are some levels where you can't play as her. She's much slower in Crash 2 because there's more instances, and you have to actually switch off her, and it takes more time in Crash 2 than in Crash 1. Like in Crash 1, she probably loses time, but it's not super significant. Like, still significant enough to not pick her up. But in Crash 2...
I got a really good rope walk at the end there. That was a pretty good Road to Nowhere.
Yeah, this is solid.
Solid.
We do have to revisit Road to Nowhere because you need the red one.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll come back there later. It was a solid 90% pass, though.
Yeah, Coco is slower just because she doesn't actually function differently from Crash in terms of speed. We suspect that she has different hitboxes and different collision just because of her model. And there's enough stuff that's come up where we think that's accurate.
I reckon that Coco's pillbox is a tad bit smaller than Crash's.
Yeah.
That's my theory. I could just be placebo, but that's based on my practice yesterday with her.
I've also felt that, so if two people were feeling it, and like there's also been other evidence that she might be a little different, but the point is that she's not faster in any way.
Yeah.
Except for maybe like a couple stuff involving the aerobatic, so usually it's just not worth getting her.
So this is Boulder Dash. It's kind of the sequel to Boulders. It's a bit longer. It's more boring. It's kind of long. It's one of my least favorite levels in the game, not because it's hard, just because it's kind of long and not that exciting.
Yeah, it's monotonous.
We have to come back here later. We can't get all the boxes, so... But you'll see the boulder does break all these boxes, and there's an instance where it breaks, like, boxes in the TNT, where it doesn't do that in the original.
Yeah.
This level's just a lot easier and faster in that regard. But there's nothing spectacular here. Just don't die. If you die here, you lose a lot of time. Fun note, after running this game, I've never died here once. It's the only level I've never died in. I've died in boulders a few times, but...
The only level I know for a fact that I had never died at any point was Whole Hog, and then in the last All Jumps run it finally happened.
That level is, when we get there, you'll see what I mean. The level's camera is just awful in Whole Hog. It's just janky as shit. So when we get the purple gem and Lights Out later, we'll come back here and do the secret path. I don't think I mentioned the fact the box screen, if you hold X before it comes up, the boxes fall on you faster as well.
Yeah, that's definitely significant, because otherwise it's like a box per second.
Yeah, it's very slow if you don't do that.
Forever.
A lot of new runners don't realize that when they start running the game.
It's extremely useful.
When I first started running the game, I would mash X thinking that was faster until somebody told me just hold it. I'm like, wow, that saved me a lot of time.
This is your world record holder, everybody. But no, Cameron has the record in all 4 of the Crash 1 NST categories.
So this is Sunset Vista. This is one of the harder levels for some people. In NST, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And next to Stormy Sunset, that's the longest level in the game.
Yes, it definitely is one of the longer
levels. Because it's got 2 bonus runs, I would say it's probably longer than Stormy Ascent. Or at least it could be.
I think they're about the same length, because Stormy has a bonus as well.
Yeah, Stormy has a bonus, but the base level is longer, whereas Sunset's base level is a little shorter, but it's also got 2 bonuses in it. And this is the first one with a Cortex bonus round.
Oh yeah, so we're going to be getting a key here.
Yeah, there are 2 of those in the game. If you get through them, you get awarded a key, which unlocks a secret level. This one unlocks the key to Whole Hog, which will come back to later.
So far so good in Sunset. The beginning section, I'd argue, is probably the hardest in this category. There's a pretty insane jump that you can do in any percent, but you actually can't do it in this category, just because you have to get boxes. So we don't have to worry about doing anything risky in this level, in this category, which is nice.
Now, one thing that we've kind of let go unstated that's a nice time save in this level in Lost City is just like knowing how to get past the pushers as quickly as possible, and that's just a matter of knowing their cycles and where they're gonna like,
yeah, exactly. You can 3D jump around some of them too,
yeah.
Which I didn't do on the bottom floor.
This was mentioned by Rebag and Trob during the last run, is that in the original game, once it touches you, it kind of like locks your position, so you can't really like jump around them, but they don't do that in NST, so you can jump around them.
This is an annoying section here, because you have to grab that checkpoint. You always have to wait for these cycles, because of how the cycles work in this game. You can't manipulate that. You have to wait there.
In any percent, and in like 105 rally passes, you just skip that box, and then you can make this cycle, but in all runs, you have to get that checkpoint, so you have to wait out the cycle, and it's kind of sucks.
Good cycle so far. You'll notice me damage abuse on the 3rd layer. because there'll be another mask that I can get, and mask form is actually not useful here because you have to wait on cycles. So this is one level where that's...
Yep. You have to wait on cycles, and there's a lot of jumping, and there's actually one point where you need to jump on crates.
Like that. Thank you.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know you can do that.
With the exclamation point box?
Yeah, and also squeezing through that little gap.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know you can squeeze through the gap before the last Cortex token. I didn't know you can do it in the first one.
So yeah,
Here's
normally you could get
Cortex
invincibility here if I didn't damage abuse, but since like you have to grab this token and you have to wait on these cycles and grab the boxes over here, it's just not worth it. It's better to damage abuse. You can jump back here and grab this Cortex token without having to walk back around, which is nice.
Well, you can squeeze between that wall, which makes this entire section so.
So here's the first Cortex bonus. It's not too difficult. And that's it. And you grab the key from him. Make sure you collect the key before you leave.
Yeah, the key is one of those collectibles you have to wait on.
So it sounds like we made this cycle. So that's good. You can actually hear the cycles going in the loading screens. So you can know if you can make it or not. I'm pretty certain the loading screens for the bonuses aren't actually loading screens either. Because the cycles keep going while you're in the bonuses, so...
Probably just there for aesthetic. We count them as load screens for the sake of timing, and NST does loadless timing because
of how long the loads can be.
The loads can be very long, and the loads between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro are very drastic, where they totally add up to a total like 3 minutes difference, and that would just be very unfair for anybody who doesn't.
So that cycle didn't line up for me.
PS4
These
Pro.
cycles can be very troll depending on how you do the level.
Yeah, these cycles are very, very mean. Crash's jump height is a little lower in this game compared to the original, so sometimes it's very tricky to make some of these cycles.
You'll notice I made sure I left this level with 2 masks because you want invincibility in heavy machinery. It's very important. Next up is Koala Kong, which is the first major RNG of this game, and basically the only real RNG of the game. You can save 10 seconds here, or you can lose 5. It depends on how he throws the rocks. There's no any type of manipulation like there is in the OG. You just have to hope and pray that it goes in your favor. Hopefully he goes in my favor here.
Also, shoutouts to Koala Kong's all this shit in this game. He's ripped, dude.
I just run around in circles a lot. I missed that hit. I could have hit him a little earlier. That's fine.
I usually, when he's throwing the first set of rocks at you, I generally hug the right corner and just run into it, and then I just stand in the center.
You want to stand to the right so he throws the boulders as close to you as possible, so you don't, like if you're standing over here, it would take a lot longer for him to throw them, for instance. So you want to definitely stand over here. This is the closest you can get. You can also stand on those rocks out there in the lava, but it's risky. So I don't do anything like that to optimize the hits. I don't think it's worth it.
There was one time where Cameron managed to clip past the lava into the section with Koala Kong, and we have yet to figure out how he did it.
It's one of my most popular clips. If you want to see it, it's my reaction is pretty fucking epic. So yeah, on my channel if you want to check that out. It's one of my most popular clips.
For good reason.
This is not a good Koala Kong fight.
That's RNG.
In my PB, I don't have splits up right now, but probably would have lost time to my PB there.
And then he gets taken away by a minecart into the abyss.
So next up is heavy machinery, where we'll see some more.
There's a lot of masks, a lot of spin bouncing in bonus rounds.
Yeah, there's 2 bonuses, and there's masks
This
that are
level
very
definitely
important.
showcases a lot of like speed strats.
It's a very fun level. It's one of my favorite levels in the category.
This also has 2 bonus rounds in it, and they're They both got their challenge to them. I think the Brio bonus is a lot harder than the Tana one.
I agree. I think the Brio bonus, based on like depth perception and whatnot, it can be a hard one to get down. I still sometimes mess it up. Here you can just jump down here early. Normally you would jump down here from between two spiky robots a little bit further in level, but you can get down there early and grab the mask form down there, which is better than grabbing the mask form on the bouncy crate.
Yeah, because if you were to get the one on the bouncy crate, you wouldn't be able to run with it as much.
And this allows you to pick up all the bonus tokens there quickly.
A good number.
So here, these cycles are usually pretty bad. I imagine they're going to be bad again. Yeah, I have to wait on this guy. They're pretty bad in this category. No wait on these cycles. So the Tana bonus here is pretty cool. There's some cool spin bounces you can do. Be entering that right now. Yeah, Josh posted a clip in there if anyone wants to see that. It's the only time it's happened to anybody.
Yeah. One way factor of how spin bounces work is that you're practically guaranteed to get the spin bounce if there is a crate under one of the crates that you're spin bouncing.
Yeah.
Which makes this bonus round very, like, much less of a headache. So, like, that looked like it might have been really hard, but it's actually really easy and straightforward.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's a fun one to do. And if you want to practice your spin bounces, it's a good place to do it, because they're free.
It's definitely a great place to do it.
So this mask is pretty important, because there's a row of boxes up here that is extremely slow to get if you don't have that, so... Box breaking does not work the same as it does in OG. OG, you could just jump up there and break them all in like one go with one spin. You can't do that in this game.
Yeah, just bonk his head on them.
You're lucky if you can break like two with one spin in this game. So here's the Brio Tona's bonus we're talking about. It's probably the... It's definitely the hardest bonus of the two. It's one of the harder bonuses in the game, probably.
Definitely it's the worst Brio bonus.
Yeah, it's definitely the hardest Brio bonus.
In the running for hardest bonus in general. That's because, like, you have to bounce on these crates, and you have to make sure you get enough momentum with your jump. And then when you get to the top section of it, you actually just cannot see yourself. So
okay, so I did all the hard jumps. There's two, like, long jumps that are basically the hard part of the thing. But I've done that bonus a lot. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was nice.
It was clean.
Definitely, like, a very annoying bonus.
You can do it a little bit faster by not like holding X the whole time. I held X the whole time just so I didn't die for marathon's sake.
A lot safer. So we're coming up on Cortex Power, and this level actually has a gem skip that was found by Cameron, I want to say like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, me and Mateus found it together.
Maybe not even that, yeah. Yeah, Mateus was the one who like conceptualized the idea of it, and then Cameron perfected it.
Yeah, we did that together as a group
effort. It's a much nicer skip than the original Cortex Power skip.
Yes, Tet would be jealous. No random clips. And invincibility is very important here. It speeds up the process like a lot. So that's why I want to take those two masks in here as well. Basically, be using invincibility. Optimally, you'll use invincibility almost the entire run through the level. But yeah, it's fairly recent find, and it's a really cool skip. And if you, I already thought the category was great. This just makes it even more fun to do.
Definitely. I haven't been able to put it into a run yet because it was found after my last all jumps run.
I currently don't have a PB with this in it yet. So you can actually carry this mask form all the way to this guy. And you run back and you grab the mask form again, which is faster than like breaking this on the way there.
Yeah, in this game, if you break a mask crate while you're in third mask form, unlike the original Crash 2 and 3 where it restarts the third mask form, it just breaks and nothing happens. So a lot of like.
Okay, so here's the skip.
Like that happens. Yeah, I'll let you focus on this.
So far so good. If you will climb up there. Alright. I'm gonna go a little slow for marathon's sake. You can do this a little faster, but just for marathon's sake, I'm going slow. Alright, nice. That's the hard part about it, is getting on top of the wall and going across.
Very nice.
You can do it a lot faster than I did it, but I just, for marathon's sake, I'm just gonna take it slow up there.
Yeah, so essentially you can... Yeah, you can either damage boost or you can use invincibility to stand on top of that electric pipe.
And then you can snipe that guy back into 2 boxes, and that's Cortex power.
And you have enough momentum to make that last jump as well.
That was almost very bad.
Almost died.
Almost, yeah. Almost fucked that up. I was considering going for spin bounces there, but they're a little different going forward. So I didn't go for them in the marathon.
One thing I very much appreciate in terms of the differing physics in this game is that it's much quicker to turn around. So if you mess up something like that, you're not gonna just die.
But that was a very, very solid Cortex power. That's one of the better ones I've gotten. So. So next is Generator Room. This is another color gem. It's probably this and Slippery Climber. They're 2 hard color gem levels, or like really hard ones.
I very much dislike this level.
This level can be very scary.
Yeah, this gives you the orange gem, which only shows up in Crash 1. It looks like a metallic muffin. Yeah, this is a very straightforward linear level. You go left, you go right, and there's like very tricky jumps.
Like the one I did at the beginning there. I don't do everything in this level because, again, it's scary. It's just, you don't want to die here after the first checkpoint, because then you can't get the gem. There's some stuff I will do, but I'm definitely not going for everything here.
Also, the tunnel bonus ride is so difficult in this game, or in this level.
Yes, yeah, you'll see how difficult the tunnel bonus can be.
Definitely one of the hardest ones for sure.
Yeah, but I don't choke here.
It's a scary bonus round.
I'm sweating.
Oh man, it's so hard, dude. And these Island 3 bonus rounds, man.
This mask isn't good in any percent, but it's actually good here. Because the cycle lines up for you, and then you can break these boxes over here a lot faster. So, definitely want to go for it. If you can.
Also, since I feel like someone might ask, even though you can see the later part of the level on the screen, you actually can't jump down there.
Yeah.
It has been asked, it has been tested. So far, we have not found a way to do it. There's like a death trigger like right.
You'll notice I waited on those platforms. You can actually jump early and, go through that. And it's something you might want to do in any percent, but in this category, we're dying. Isn't good like I just did there. I have to re-enter now, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Yeah. I never mess up that diagonal, which is why I went for it. But it's all good. We'll just re-enter and do it again.
It was bound to happen at some point in the run.
Yeah. That's fine. That's not a diagonal that I normally mess up. But we'll just re-enter it. That'll lose just a couple minutes, but...
Yeah, diagonals can be tricky in NST just because if you accidentally turn during them, then...
That's what happened. That's what happened there.
Yeah, you lose all your speed.
That's exactly what just happened there.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's why I mentioned it.
But that's totally fine.
Exhibit A as to why I don't like this level.
It's scary. I could have played it safe and not gone for the diagonals at all, but they're usually pretty consistent for me, which is why I went for it. But we'll just do it again. Show this level off again, since Rico likes it so much.
Show off that difficult bonus round again.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the bonus again. That's why I died.
The bonus rounds also fluctuate in difficulty, and I think that's just a result of they didn't really count in the original game, so the devs kind of just wishy-washied them, and then they just carried over into the trilogy.
So yeah, here's the bonus again.
This is a notoriously easy bonus for a notoriously challenging level.
The bad thing about that, about the death, is I'm not going to be able to bring a triple mask into toxic waste, which is really good.
And it's going to lose some time.
And I got hit right there.
There's you lose the speed, and you also have to actually break crits.
I'm just gonna play the rest of this level kind of safe, just to get out of it.
Those spike bots are annoying to get through.
They have an annoying hitbox.
Yeah, if you don't have invincibility, it's very like.
You can 3D jump around them, but I did not risk it.
I would just do that.
I'm gonna wait on this. And I'm gonna play this safe. I'm gonna do the first one. Show you it. Actually doing it correctly. Because I don't usually fail that diagonal.
There we go.
I'd say I'm like 99% consistent at that diagonal, but of course I fail it during the marathon. It's all good though. This could still.
This has been solid. Regardless.
This has been very good until that. It was really good until that.
Because of the Cortex power skip, we still got time to save.
Yeah, this could still theoretically PB. I don't know how much time it lost overall, but this could still probably PB.
Yeah. Especially when you factor in the extra load times, like probably wasn't as. Like, it was still a bad death, but not as bad as it would have seemed.
Yeah, I would say maybe 2-3 minutes. So.
Yeah, probably about that.
I'm not entirely sure how long the level is in the jump pass.
Yeah, so you got the orange muffin from that level. So this is Toxic Waste. This is the level that has the blue gem, which we would have needed for Cortex Power, but we used the Cortex Power skip. But it will still be useful in a later level, Jaws of Darkness, and it's useful in Rolling Stones. Blue gem.
So yeah, normally you'd want invincibility there if you didn't die in generator room. It makes this sections like this a lot faster.
This is a very straightforward level though. You just run forward and then break the crates that are along the way.
Jump around these guys. Oh, this is another reason why it's good, because you don't have to like stop and do that trick there to break those.
These barrels are also very odd, and this is that even with invincibility, you can't like run through them, so you have to.
Yeah, this game is weird with what you can run through with invincibility. Like you can run through the spikes in like Native Fortress and Great Gate, but you can't like run through the little barrels here.
You can also actually kill the hogs in Road to Nowhere.
There's a damage abuse I usually do off of that TNT, but I just want to save the mask just in case. Because this is a colored gem level. Well, it's not difficult.
It's very.
If you can make a mistake, an easy.
This is actually probably one of the easier colored gems.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple level. It's not that hard, but.
Oh, one thing of note, it's like a really minor thing, is that for the sections with the bouncing barrels, there's actually little marks on the ground that show where they're
going to land.
Yeah. And it's an extremely subtle hint, so it's not like blatantly obvious, but if you make note of it, it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, like right there, I'm standing on it.
So it's just a very nice, like, if you see it, you can use it to your advantage, but it's not like the game's shoving it in your face, telling you how to do it.
So there's the blue gem done. Next up is pinstripe. There's fast pinstripe strats, but I'm not going to go for them.
Yeah, they're pretty precise, and if you mess them up, you get hit.
And I don't want to lose my mask. So
you save like, what, 4 seconds?
It saves about 4 seconds, and this really doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah. The pinstripe is very similar to how he's fought in the original game. The difference is that you can't hit him 3 times in rapid succession.
Yeah.
But everything else about it, like waiting out the first pass and then hitting him when the opportunity arises, everything else is effectively the same.
Yeah, that's the strat I'm going to be doing. The NST strats involve hitting him as his first bullet fires out of his gun to skip his to skip that animation right there, and you do it twice, and it does save 4 seconds. It's good in any percent, but here I don't bother going for it because I get hit a lot doing it. You can also stand on this chair. As long as he's cowering, he won't hit you.
That's epic. Crash just takes it like a man.
Yeah. And you can actually spin him right here without jumping. I'm not sure how it kills him, but it does. So that's pinstripe.
Yeah, so next is probably the most infamous level in the entire N.Sane trilogy, which is the High Road.
Yeah, the High Road is Dan Tanguay's Hellspawn.
Yeah, if there is any level that got screwed over by the different physics of the N.Sane trilogy, it is definitely the High Road. This level is much harder than it was in the original.
Yeah,
to the point that I would argue it's the hardest level in the game, not counting maybe Stormy Ascent.
This level's really hard in any percent to do fast. I don't do as many fast strats here. The bonus, this is one of the harder bonuses as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it's got a hard bonus, and the level is just a straight pain in the ass.
So actually, you want to go backwards first to grab 4 boxes here. And that's one reason I also like taking a mask at the pinstripe. Okay, then. I dropped my jump. Epic. So, we don't have a mask now.
Yeah, this level...
That can happen sometimes.
This level is prone to BS.
If you get, like, too close to a ledge and you try to jump, it just won't let you, and then that will happen. So, that's just what happened right there. Good demonstration of the high road and NSD physics for you.
Yeah. There are some parts where you kind of have to, like, drop off the ledge a little bit to make jumps. Like, actually using the turtles the intended way is...
extremely slow. Yeah, it's extremely slow.
Because the way momentum works in this game is that if you get like a running start, you go further in the air. So the problem a lot of people have is that they try to do the basic method of they jump on the turtle and then they just like standing in front of the turtle, they jump onto it and then they don't make the jump. And they're like, well, what the hell happened? You're supposed to like run up to the turtle and jump that way, but it's very slow, and in some places it's actually hard to do because there's so little room to jump. So the faster way is just like making as like precise of jumps as you can, or like using the rope to your advantage.
There's a lot of fast rides you can do with skipping these turtle bounces here, but it's not easy to do, so I don't bother with it in all gems.
These later sections where there's like chains of turtles to bounce on is probably a good showcase of turtle hitboxes being absolutely screwed up, but here it's actually beneficial.
So this bonus is actually one of the probably one of the hardest bonuses in the N.Sane Trilogy. I just missed a box. I'm gonna have to re-enter.
This one is very annoying.
I don't usually mess that.
It's got cool. Yeah, it's got cool fast strats, but
fast strats are pretty good.
yeah. So what you want to do is you want to drop to the bottom platform and time your spins properly so that you can break the crates above you. This is probably the hardest one of this.
Yeah, it's pretty precise timing. I did it that second time though. I don't usually mess it up either, but you know, I missed the box by a bit, so I had to re-enter. So there's no way I could go back and get that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was what I was saying with the turtles is that for some reason the turtles in Crash 1, I think it's like their necks and their tails have like giant hitboxes, so you can get hit by them when it looks like you shouldn't have. But then in this section, when they're already like turned over, it's actually beneficial because it lets you make jumps that it looks like you shouldn't be able to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of people, when they get to the end, they're like, well, how the hell am I supposed to do this? And just run up and jump at it. You'll make it. And so that's a high road. Aside from a hitch at the beginning and the bonus round, that actually went very well.
It went smoothly.
That's about as smooth as high road can get.
So here's Slippery Climb. This is another tough level. There's a lot of tough levels in a row in this category.
Yeah, Island 3 is brutal.
You have Generator Room, you have High Road in this. It can...
Yep, and Slippery Climb has a red gem, so you have to get through it without dying. And doing this level fast can be very tricky.
Oh my god, I don't normally mess that up either. But I turned the wrong way. So that's why I messed up there.
Yeah, there are some quick box strats that you can do to make things go a little faster.
There you go. It's not that hard, it's just I turned a little early. And then there's a strat right here that's kind of difficult, but you can make that.
This lower section, a lot of this is stuff that I came up with. So, I guess my claim to fame for Crash 1 would probably be Slippery Climb. There's also some stuff I came up with in the top portion of the level, which is not useful in 80% because there's a hyper jump strat that you can do that is not as useful in all gems because you have to actually break boxes.
Well, for one, you can do the hyper jump in all gems, and there's a spot where the first boxes are, and you can actually drop down right there and get the box. But the thing with the hyper jump is it can break the cycles on the top layer, which wouldn't allow you to get the rest of the boxes. So you don't want to go on top of the wall if you bring a mask here.
Yeah.
You can do the hyper jump and not get on the wall.
Because they're proximity cycles, they trigger when you reach a specific spot. So if you like run over it, then the cycle just might not start moving at all.
Yeah, sometimes all the cycles on the top layer just absolutely stop working when you do the hyper jump. So it's not recommended to do it in this category. You can do a small one, and not get on top
Just
of
to
the
get
wall.
to the, just to get to the top of the section.
I would have showed it off if I had a mask here, but I didn't get to bring one.
And that's something that could be showed off if we have time when the run is over, I guess.
Yeah, definitely will.
Maybe
So here's
not,
some
though.
fast strats that I'll do
That's
that
kinda how,
are a
kinda how
little
the
scary.
run's gonna go.
Alright, so that's the main fast strat that I do here. Thankfully, the bird hitboxes are very forgiving in this game, so it allows stuff like that.
Everything after the checkpoint is scary because if you die, you just have to go back to this
Oh,
beginning
it's-
of this level.
it's a lot of
very
time.
long level. This is like the precursor to Stormy Ascent, and even then, this is not an easy level.
Because here's a bonus. The bonus here can be tricky too if you don't know what you're doing. Alright, nice. That can definitely be a tough one.
Yeah, that one pretty good.
That's about as fast as you can do it. I'm gonna wait here. There's fast strats you can do on this layer, but this second layer of platforms just like sometimes just doesn't like work like it should. Pretty awkward.
Very annoying, and it's like if you miss it, then just like rip.
Yeah, so I don't bother going for that. That's slippery climb. That was a good slippery climb besides the hiccup at the beginning.
Yeah. Thankfully, if you die before a checkpoint, it doesn't count as you.
Yeah.
Like, when they say you have to finish the entire level without dying, so if you die and get sent back to the beginning, then you can still do it. Which was also the case in the original game, so that's just something nice that carried over. And it also carried over into Crash 2 and Crash 3, involving death routes.
Yeah. Ignoring that death, it was a solid run through the level.
Definitely solid.
So Lights Out is next, and that's a very straightforward level. We can't get the gem here yet, so we just run through the level and get as many boxes as we can.
This one requires the yellow gem, which we get in the lab.
It's actually the first any percent pass in a while. We've gotten most of the gems.
Yeah, a good portion of Island 2 and the beginning of Island 3.
From Sunset to Slippery Climb, you get all the gems.
Yeah. As well as from, like, Up the Creek to Road to Nowhere, I believe.
Yeah,
Which is
Road to Nowhere.
a
And Boulder
handful of
Dasher
levels.
like to break.
Yeah, and then Sunset Vista, and there's just, like, a huge amount of gems all in one go. There used to be a Cortex Power Brick in there, but we found this really awesome skip.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, so, as has been seen many times now, this is a in-the-dark level of your light source.
Yeah, this is a common theme across all the Crash games, where you pick up a light source to be able to see.
Yeah, and the only downside is if you get hit, then Aku Aku disappears, and then you're left in the dark, and I hope you know the way to go. I've actually clutched out a couple times where, like, I get hit by the last pendulum scythe, and then, like, I just, like, okay, I think I know where everything is, and then I just managed to pull it off.
Yeah, if you know the layout of the level, being in the dark isn't too bad.
These rat possum things are actually kind of annoying.
Their spawns they can spawn on top of you sometimes, actually, which is very annoying.
They're also, like, huge as shit in this game. Whereas, like, in the original,
yeah,
they were
that's
like fat but flat. In this game, they're just fat.
Yeah, you'll notice that last rat that spawned in front of me. Sometimes if you're standing there, he can still spawn on top of you and hit you, and it's not.
Very nice Lights Out.
Yeah, it's very solid. I only waited on one cycle. There's a
Next
cycle
level
skip you can
is-
do that saves a second, but I didn't bother going for it.
Yeah, the next level is Jaws of Darkness, if I remember the island layout correctly.
Yes, Jaws is next. Jaws is
Known
it's
in
not
the
as difficult
original-
as some of the other levels before, but it can be if you don't know what you're doing or where you're going. It's easy to
Known
miss a
in the
box
ori-
here too, so
Yeah, known in the original game as Jaws of Andy Gavin.
yeah, there's a lot of dropped inputs in the original game here.
In this game, it's still difficult enough that I have to call it Jaws of Dan Tangway. But it's definitely not as bad, and this has the second key, and this will unlock Fumbling in the Dark. This level also has the most boxes of any in Crash 1. There's 2 bonus rounds that have a lot of boxes in them, and then the base level also just has a lot of boxes, so I think it's got like 110 something.
Yeah, there's a ton of boxes here.
Which makes the any percent path of it kind of drag on it at the box screen.
Yeah,
Like You have like 60 boxes dropped on your head at the end because you can't go out of your way to get them.
This level's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna do 2 damage abuses here so I can get optimal triple mask on the blue gem path. I'm gonna damage abuse off that fire, and then I'm gonna.
The gem path that's gonna come up has 3 masks along the way.
So that's why I
damage.
damage.
Get the third one. Like you want to get the third one specifically.
So that's why I damage abuse there for that reason alone. So this is the blue gem path. You get this from toxic waste.
And the crate, they're the crate up at this top part here. That's
Did I get that?
to see.
I might not have got that. Hold on. Okay, I did. I didn't remember if I got it or not. Good thing to check. Good thing you mentioned that. I would have been nervous.
I mean, it looked like you did because there's some lag on my end, but I don't know if you like didn't hear it break or something because I haven't.
I just honestly couldn't remember if I jumped up to it or not. I'm glad I checked. That would have been on my conscience the rest of the level.
Yeah, the invincibility is very nice for breaking that 6x2 or 9x2 dagger.
Yeah, invincibility helps break all those crates there a ton easier. That's why you damage abuse before it, so you can get that one. Some fast strats you can do here, but I'm not going to go for them because it risks getting hit, and invincibility is very good in castle machinery, which is next.
Definitely.
So waiting here is like not a big deal compared to possibly lose. Oh, well, got hit. I'll still get invincibility in castle, provided I don't get hit for the rest of this, but.
I guess one thing we could show off after the run if we have time is the castle machinery out of bounds.
Oh yeah, I'll show that off since it's not useful anywhere else.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest out of bounds things in the entire game, if not the coolest, and it's completely useless because you can't use it and all gems are 105%, and in any percent it's slower than just getting the green gem.
Alright, so I didn't get hit in that bonus, so we'll still be able to get invincibility in castle machinery. We'll be able to get the good. I didn't get the key.
You didn't get. Oh no.
Oh boy. I'm gonna grab the gem.
Yeah, grab the gem and then revisit the level.
This
That really sucks.
yeah, this is snowballed pretty quickly here.
We have a chance to leave with 2 masks again, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
At this point, if you're this far into the level, I would definitely finish it.
Yeah, I just grab the gem. It's not worth not like grabbing the gem at least.
What you could always do is that you could get the key on the backtrack. Like, just go through the rest of the game, and then when you backtrack, just use it over this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that so I can still get
Because you get pushed forward automatically when you finish the level, so you might as well just do it when you're going backwards.
yeah.
And the key is not important until you get to fumbling in the dark.
So that's definitely PB dead. If the jaws re-entered didn't make it dead, that definitely makes it dead.
Yeah.
But it's still decent besides really dumb
Definitely
mistakes.
so.
I just didn't wait there like an idiot.
Yeah, it's just gonna cancel out the Cortex Fire skip, and you're gonna lose time compared to like the second version of Cortex Fire, because it's just a longer level.
Yeah.
So yeah, next is Castle Machinery, and this is a very long, kind of boring level.
I enjoy castle machinery, but you can't make it as exciting as you can since out of bounds aren't useful.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely
Start of
prefer heavy
Castle Machinery, there's a green gem platform that just takes you to the end of the level with like 1,000,000 lives.
Yeah, you use
Yeah,
that in any percent and in 105%, but you don't use it here.
Yeah, in 105 you use it on the first visit, and it counts you as finishing the level, so then when you revisit it, the time trial clock will already be there, and you can just one-cycle the level because there's no bonus round. But in all gems you have to do the level normal because you only visit. If you move fast enough, you can run through those spike bots when it looks like they would hit you, but...
Yeah, just barely you can make it. As long as you run forward. I think Tep got a 115 earlier, Gaming Expert. So far, the only mishaps have been re-entering Gen Room and dying once in Slippery Climb, and a high road too, which
There's actually a trick you can do in that like conveyor belt section where you can damage boost off of the hot pipe on the right.
that's
and jump over it.
yeah, it's a lot faster, and I could do it since there's no boxes, but you're just dying. It can just suck you in
tricky because
nothing
there's like
and kill you.
a death trigger like right above it, and if you touch it, you just like crash and disappears.
So this invincibility is very good. You could just skip all this bullshit instead of waiting on this shit.
This is one of the few invincibilities in the original game that's useful. Just because it lets you run through all of this and it lets you break crates.
Yeah, and I can break these crates up here faster too.
They threw this convenient checkpoint in the original game. Definitely a very nice invincibility. Yeah, this section with like the descending staircase up to that checkpoint, that's where the out of bounds happens.
There's also an out of bounds you can get on this box bridge, and it can like soft lock you into the level.
Oh yeah, my first or second run, I got that, and I was like, what the hell? That was wonderful. That's not a good out of bounds to get.
Yeah, I remember when it happened to Kane. He was just like, what?
Incidentally enough, that one is also not useful.
Yeah, you're just
Just a
stuck at
little
the bottom
abuses
of the
out of
level,
bounds.
like just sitting there.
You just can't do anything, and you're just forced to leave the level.
There's faster
And
strats
it's
you can do on those steam cycles, but I'm just gonna keep a mask just in case in the lab.
Yeah, the lab and like I like to have one for Brio also just because I'm bad at it. Brio's gonna have a nice little exploit.
Oh yeah, you can credit DepCal for finding the Brio exploit.
So
He
that
decided
was-
to just jump on his head and hold forward, and lo and behold,
Yeah, it's faster.
you can stand on top of his head. So I'll show
As
that
we'll
off too.
demonstrate during his Hulk out mode.
It saves about 10 seconds versus not doing it.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
Just free and easy time save.
It's a lot simpler to pull off than the pinstripe time save.
Oh yeah, this is a very easy one. If you like learning this game, just go ahead and learn it. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Pinstripe.
Also, in NST, they explain why destroying the blobs hurts Brio. Is that in this game, they like squirt acid onto his face.
There's a fun soft lock here that can happen if you jump on the green blobs as soon as he throws them. And he can just soft lock there and be having an aneurysm. And the only way you can do it is to leave the boss and come back in.
Shout out to Ukog Monkey for losing world record based to that.
Yeah.
In probably one of the most famous NSD clips. Depth, the CP skip went without a hitch. It was amazing.
It was good, but I had to re-enter generator room, and I'm gonna have to do Jaws again because I just forgot to wait on the key for Cortex. So that's good me. I got the gem there though, so I don't gotta do the whole level. Just gotta go and
You
get.
just have to go up to the. You have to go to the Cortex bonus round, and I think after that you might be able to leave the level. But I don't know if I would risk it.
I'll finish it.
I'll just finish it anyway. You don't want to do it 3 times.
Yeah.
I know in the original game you could get the key and then just leave the level.
I'm not sure if you can do that in this game. I've never had to do it, so
Yeah, it doesn't come up. So.
it doesn't come up often.
Alright, so
No.
here's the Brio strat where you just run on his head and then like just automatically hit him.
Again, shout out to DefCal. You found that.
And the great thing is that he's supposed to break through the window, but he's so close to it that he just like phases through it. But like the bars on the window are supposed to shatter.
Yeah, it's pretty epic, and it's amazing how free it is.
Yeah, it's very, very nice strat.
Yeah, it's useful literally everywhere.
Yep, so next is the lab. This level is... It's got a pretty annoying bonus round,
That
honestly.
it's fairly straightforward in all gems because you have to wait on cycles when you're going for bonus tokens, so you don't have to do any cycle skips here like you do in any percent. But the bonus can be annoying.
Got a really asshole section right at the beginning.
Since you have to wait on those bonus tokens, it's fairly like straightforward. You can get a nice snipe there and break all those boxes. You bounce on that TNT and break those boxes.
These blobs, you can actually spin them, like in the Brio fight, and it makes things a lot simpler.
So here's the annoying bonus. It's momentum. Momentum in this game is weird, so
Oh, also no, this is a yellow gem level, so he also can't die.
Yeah. I got it first try, which is good. There's a spin bounce you can do there.
There's 2 crates above that arrow crate. So if you break the arrow crate on accident, it's like rip.
That was a solid lab bonus.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
Can definitely go faster than that, but I'd rather take my time and not mess up the momentum getting up there.
That's a level straightforward. And with the mask, we should be safe.
Here you want to snipe this scientist and some TNT up there. I might have been able to make that cycle, but I didn't go for it. It's a tight cycle. Depends on how fast you do the bonus and the rest of the level. So that cycle was good. Here there's like a sub jump you can do to the last TNT and you can jump over here. It saves time in any percent, but it doesn't save time here because you have to wait for them to blow up anyway, so.
Yeah. You have to wait for the gem. Now remind me, do you enter the Great Hall or do you just start the backtrack?
I start the backtrack, I don't enter the Great Hall.
Okay.
Sometimes I accidentally enter it by smashing
so
X.
this is the beginning of the backtrack, and we're not going to see a new... Well, actually, that's a lie. We're going to see a couple new levels.
So, on the backtrack, I'm actually going to enter Jaws, because I have to.
Yeah, normally the first one would be Lights Out or Fumbling in the Dark, but Jaws is on the way, so...
So yeah, let's grab the key here. Since Crash just didn't collect it, because I didn't wait long enough.
This is the only category in NST Crash 1 fight Cortex, which is something I'm grateful for, because he's pretty annoying in this game.
He's an annoying fight, if you don't have a mask in there.
Yeah,
so I'm not going to grab boxes, I'm just going to go grab the key.
The bosses in the NST version of Crash 1 don't give you masks, so... But they also don't take masks away from you, so you can use that to your advantage, but it also makes some of the boss fights trickier.
I have never had to do this in all my running of this category. I have to go back and get the key. I normally collect it, but I just didn't wait long enough.
There's always a first for everything.
Yeah, I just completely slipped my mind. I'm not gonna do any damage abuses. Either, just make it through the level. I'm not gonna go for that, because I'm on analog, and that jump is hard on analog. So I have to switch over to D-pad. Normally I would switch over to D-pad on the section where you, like, the 2 platforms you ride before the first Cortex token, but or just switch over to D-pad.
In a lot of cases, analog, because like the speed doesn't change, but analog has more directional input. So in a lot of cases, in Crash 2 and Crash 3, and in Island 1.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to do diagonals with analog.
Yeah. For Island 2 and 3, because the levels become a lot more linear and more tricky platforming, D-pad comes up a lot more often.
So here, we'll do the Cortex bonus again. I don't know if I can do it fast. I don't think there's, like, you can do it in the OG without, like, breaking that many boxes, but...
You can do the second phase kind of fast, I believe.
I might not risk it. We'll see. I probably could do that. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna finish the level because I'm not sure if I can exit right now and keep the key.
Probably a very smart thing to do. This is probably something worth testing later, I guess, just for the sake of...
Yeah, if I ever do it in a marathon again, I'll test it. If this wasn't a marathon, I would have reset after generator room, but... This could be a decent run still, even with that. So yeah, you'll get to see a bunch of boxes fall in my head here.
At the time you left the bonus running, the time was about 118.25, so it's still pretty good pace. And that's RTA. So.
Yeah, my PB is like a 140 something-ish. I don't know exactly what it is. Our RTA. We had a good Grey Gate, and we had really good Cortex power skip, so I could still get a decent time to make up for the mistakes.
Definitely.
So here's fumbling in the dark. This is one of the more annoying levels in the game.
I hate this level.
I really dislike this level too.
I have always hated this level from the bottom of my heart since I was a wee lad.
I spent some time learning some strats here, so you'll be able to see them.
Also, this level's a freaking dick, and it just puts these 6 boxes right at the beginning, and there's like no indication of it.
Yeah, you just have to go back and be like, oh, well, hey.
Oh, cool. I decided to walk backwards for some godforsaken reason.
If you know who Saboom is, he was having a very rough time earlier on this level in Stratfecta.
This level's very, very mean.
It's
you can't die.
Yeah, it's a very frustrating experience.
Yeah, at least in this one you can die, but it's actually pretty checkpoint starved.
Yeah, there's not that many.
So dying in NST is not much better.
There's a 3D jump you can do around that pendulum. I'm not going to do it though, it's very, very tight. Here I might get hit. Okay, I didn't. That's a very tight section 2. Make it through fast. It's easy to recover getting hit there though, because the mask is like 2 steps forward pretty much. So here's a section that I did slow for the longest time, but I no longer do it slow. You just walk through that and 3D jump there. And there's Stumbling in the Dark.
Very nice. Very unforgiving level. So
Definitely.
very nice when it goes through. So the next level should be Lights Out, and it's actually much easier to do the gem pass of this because it just cuts out a good like half of it.
Yeah, it's very, very easy, and you don't have to do like the cycle skips that you do in Lights Out. Like, don't even come up until after it, so you don't have to do anything different here. Just get on the gem.
And at 105, it makes the one cycle like super free.
Yeah, the one cycle's
It's actually the
easy.
optimal way to do the relic in the level. And this has the purple gem. It's the only level that requires a color gem and also gives you a gem.
Yeah. Yeah, this will unlock the secret path in Boulder Dash.
Also of note is that the time trial clock, you could theoretically grab it to get the relic instead, and that would let you skip the gem cutscene at the end, but the relic cutscene's actually longer.
Yeah. So that's only good when you're like combining the two together.
Yeah, which is only a factor in 105.
Yeah. I don't recommend playing that category either.
So that category is...
It's long and there's a lot of level revisits. Cortex Power makes it a little better, but still.
That's the biggest thing that hurts 105 in Crash 1 is that it gets very, very repetitive because there are so many more level revisits. There's plenty of levels you have to visit 3 times.
You have to play at least every level twice.
Yeah.
So it's just a very tedious run.
Because the game doesn't actually give you running shoes in Crash 1, the movement also just doesn't change. So it feels...
It's just like doing all gems and then doing any
all gems and
percent.
then an any percent that's even more unforgiving than regular percent. It's really harmful, and that's why all gems is...
All gems is definitely the best category out of the 3. Has the...
4 if you count 102 no DLC.
Yeah, but only one person likes that category. I won't name names, but...
Yeah, 102 DLC is the original completion category from before Stormy Ascent was a thing.
So before Cortex Power Skip was found, I would go straight to Road to Nowhere to be able to have extra masks. But since Cortex Power Skip isn't a thing, we won't be able to bring masks out of there. So it's not useful to get the invincibility at the start of Road to Nowhere. So I'm going to go to Boulder Dash, directly on to Whole Hog. But it doesn't really matter when the levels are right next to each other.
Yeah, so essentially Boulder Dash and Hog, they both take your masks, and since you originally wanted to take 2 masks out of Cortex Power into Road to Nowhere, you would do Road to Nowhere first and then go back and do Boulder Dash and Hog. But with the Cortex Power Skip, the level you do before Road to Nowhere is either Fumbling in the Dark or Lights Out. and you can only take one mask out of either, so it's not useful.
Yeah, it's no longer useful. The invincibility was very good, which is unfortunate that you can't bring 2 masks into it anymore, but...
The trade-off is that you have...
the whole Cortex power
one less visit to Cortex power.
Yeah.
And it's not beneficial to do another level and then come back to Road to Nowhere, because there's no other level on Island 2 that can give you masks that you have to revisit.
Yeah.
So you would like go all the way to Island 1 and go back, and there's just no point.
Yeah, it's not worth that at all.
In Island 1, though, it would be beneficial to do Rolling Stones and then Native Fortress.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Invincibility is not as useful at the beginning of Rolling Stones. In fact, I would say it's not good. But
yeah,
then,
just because you have to wait.
You have to wait
for it to run out.
Token, if you're a Brio token that you would destroy otherwise, because it's caked next to some TNTs. But Native Fortress, the invincibility is extremely useful at the beginning.
Yeah, it makes cycles
so
very
that's the
good.
one instance where we'll be doing the levels out of order, is Rolling Stones and then Native Fortress. In the original Crash 1, the purple gem section of Boulder Dash had a notoriously shitty camera.
Same here.
In my professional opinion, that hasn't changed in NST. The camera still sucks. It's just like it's like right behind Crash, and you can't see anything.
Yeah, it's hard with the depth perception. Like with those plants can be very scary. So I take it a little slower than I need to. Make sure they don't eat me. So Whole Hog is next. It's like Hog Wild, except for the worst camera.
Yeah.
You'll notice in Whole Hog I jump a whole bunch. I don't jump in...
You mean in Hog Wild you jump a bunch?
In Hog Wild I jump a bunch, and Whole Hog I don't jump at all. So the level actually makes me a little bit nauseous. So jumping makes it worse because of how the camera is. So I don't jump it.
We don't condone vomiting during speedruns.
So yeah, I don't do anything special here. I just get out of here as fast as possible.
Yeah, I don't condone vomiting at all, but that's just me.
Oh, me either.
I'm not. I can't deal with it.
But you'll see what I mean by the janky camera. It's just, it's awful. Like right here, you'll see it out the bat.
Probably because I take this level slow as shit.
I take it slow too, just because I only jump when I have to. But if you're jumping a lot, you'll notice it more, which is why I don't jump. There's certain instances where it's just like very janky. Especially at the beginning. It's not hard, and I'd say it's easier than Hog Wild because there's no like ridiculous pig that you have to maneuver.
No ridiculous pig, which is hilarious because in the original Crash 2 or in the original Crash 1 there is a pig, but then Hog Wild doesn't have one. You kind of just switch them. Also, let it be known that my one death in this level ever, casually and speed-wise, was on the drum right before the 2 spikes. Somehow I just like hit the left side of it and died.
Epic. You can't jump over them.
This was also right at the end of the level, so like, end me, please.
Alright, so we're gonna do Road to Nowhere. Next to Gem Path, we'll get all the boxes here this time. There's some cool fast tracks you can do here with masks. That if I don't get hit by the fucking that first pig, I will be able to do them.
Actually, one thing to consider is that even without the invincibility, would it be worth bringing one extra mask into Road to Nowhere?
No.
Okay.
Because you just carry this to the one to the red gem path.
Yeah.
You carry this mask, you do the damage boost, and it gives you another mask there.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
And then you do another damage abuse in the bonus. I'm not doing much rope stuff this time around just because I want to keep the mask. I'm going to rope around this pig just so I don't get hit.
I feel like without the invincibility it doesn't lose time to not use the rope, but roping around the pig is very nice.
Yeah, just don't risk getting hit. Because this fast strat is very fast versus not doing it. It saves a lot of time.
If you don't have the mask, you have to wait on TNT, and it's super annoying.
But yeah, that gives you another mask right there, so... If you want to bring another mask in, it'd just be for safety purposes, rather than not. You could still do this after fumbling. You could bring 2 masks, but it wouldn't be like a big deal. It wouldn't be a big deal if you decided to do it that way.
It'd be a safety strat, and you could probably throw in another damage boost somewhere if you wanted to.
Yeah, just basically for the safety strat for the hogs.
It's like very minimal time loss on the map, so it might be worth doing.
Yeah.
It's technically optimal to do this, though, I would say.
Yeah, there's only 2 damage abuses that are good here. Just in the bonuses on the TNTs.
Yeah, the other ones would be awesome hogs, but you can rope strat those.
Yeah, you don't really need to.
Also, this bonus platform is kind of annoying. There's a gap between the platform and the
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm an idiot for that. I fucked that up pretty hard. Let's ignore that and go again.
Oh no.
I thought I could make it through with iframes, but
that
it didn't let me go through.
That was RNG manipulation.
Yeah, that was RNG manipulation. That's never happened to me before. That was epic.
Send out your O's.
Now I'm obviously be nervous about that. Yeah. Never walked into that. Doing that damage abuse usually just works out just fine.
Yeah, that bonus platform, there's a gap between the bonus platform and the level itself, and you can't see it because the pillar is in the way.
I'll notice I skipped bouncing on the turtle, like we mentioned before. It's just slow. It's pretty free to jump over that.
There's one more section with 2 crates next to it. Thankfully, they have food to tell you where to jump. They were also kind enough to add an extra exit platform at the end of the level.
Instead of having to backtrack, yeah.
Also, definitely wait on that gem. That gem is definitely one where if you don't wait on it, you can...
Yeah, it's another one of those ones. It's just like, well, if you didn't stay on it long enough, you don't get it. Kind of what happened in Jaws of Darkness with the key to me. Those collectibles can be like,
yeah.
If you don't wait long enough, you just don't get it.
Gem can be a definite pain. Shout out to Chris Marks. May he rest in peace.
So we're gonna go do Rolling Stones first, so we can bring Mask into Fortress.
Yeah. Thankfully, all we got left is Island 1 and Stormy Ascent.
Yeah, that's all. Just the Island 1 backtracking and Stormy Ascent. We're almost done. Really silly mistakes throughout this, but it's been...
We're making really good time, actually.
Yeah. What's the time we're at now?
Oh, 131 on the load screen.
Alright, that's not bad.
Or, it was, 131.20 something on the load screen into, like, into the map.
Alright. So here you want to make sure you get that, Brio token. It's an easy one to miss.
Oh, that was a really nice scenery manipulation. So many nice scenery things that I'm unaware of because I've been so inactive.
Yeah, you don't play this game. Yeah. And there's that hidden Brio token we were talking about.
To optimize Crash 2 instead because nobody else was doing it. So weird, for the longest time it was actually I was the only person doing anything notable in Crash 2. And then along came Deep.
He's pretty good at the game. This invincibility isn't really that useful, but we'll grab it anyway. You can run across that, I guess. And you enter the bonus, which takes it away from you.
Yeah. It's just like a little bit of time save, but not huge.
Yeah, it doesn't make that much of a difference.
The bonus round is rude and takes it from you.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to actually be able to bring it in the bonus round. It's a fun bonus round to do. Wait on this cycle on the pansy. And we're gonna jump down here. We're gonna got this.
Because the invincibility is very nice in Fortress, so it's probably worth waiting.
Yeah.
It makes the first part of Fortress.
I'm actually gonna walk back to that because jumping off the blue platform to that is very awkward for some reason.
Yeah, it's
sometimes that skunk can spawn on top of that token, and that's annoying as well.
It's awkward in the original. It's awkward in this game. It's just awkward.
You can jump straight from that TNT to these boxes, but I'm not gonna risk it. It's actually not as easy as it would look because of how momentum works in this game.
Yeah, the way momentum works is that, like, if you bounce on something, you actually lose a lot of your, like, a different bounce momentum. So it makes a lot of things that look like they would be possible actually might not be.
So we're going to do Native Fortress next. I haven't actually gotten to a run where I got to use this mask form, so this should be fun. It's really good.
It's a very fun mask form.
It's very good. I've used it in practice. I haven't used it in a run yet. It's.
Yeah. I think I've used it in two of my 3 runs, if not all 3. It's a very, very nice one to have.
It guarantees you all the fast cycles, and even more so, you don't have to wait on any tokens or anything. At the first token, you don't have to wait on, or the second one rather, not the first one. Okay, just drop my momentum. So here's this invincibility. It's very good. You can just run through all this crap. You can run through this crap. Run across that. Grab that. Oops.
This makes this entire like bottom section trivial.
Didn't get the fast cycles because of how I messed up at the beginning. That's fine. It's still fast. If you do it optimally enough, you can get to that shield guy and go, like, past that spike and not have to wait on it. But since I messed up a little bit, that wasn't.
This neat little trick that is frame perfect, where you can hit the back of the shield guy and he just, like, launches you forward.
That never, launches you in the direction you want, though. I've had it happen, like, in the direction I want, like, once. And it's frame perfect. Controllers do it.
Yeah, I got it, like...
This is one of the hardest bonuses in the game as well. This is a really tough one. I don't know how I made it out alive, honestly.
Oh man, dude, that was clutch. Those 5 crates. I don't know how you do it. Why is it like always like the trickiest level with like the easiest bonus rounds?
They might have done that on purpose.
With the exception of like the Lost City, that's a tricky level with tricky bonus rounds. I guess something we failed to mention is that you can actually like go behind the gate.
Yeah.
Skip all of this, which
I didn't get good cycles up here either.
100% intentional. Like they actually intentionally put that in the game. Makes that entire section way more trivial.
Upcoming is a very awkward cloud section. That is one of my least favorite sections in the entire run.
It's
very just awkward. The camera
very
sucks.
Strange to look at and very like vibrant and bright. And
it looks kind of cool, like from a viewer's perspective, but it's really actually not that fun to play. Camera sucks.
Yeah, the camera sucks, and like these clouds are ugh.
Janky, like that.
There's
a
gem platform that takes you back down, but it takes so fucking long that it's better to just this cloud.
You can do that a little bit faster, but I'm just gonna do it like that. Bouncing around it and trying to do it is really awkward with how momentum works. Again, just a momentum.
Yeah,
thing.
that red gem platform takes you back down to the beginning, but it moves so slow.
You can just jump down from where that life box is.
Just come back here and jump down, and boom, way faster.
It had a few hiccups in it. Could have been faster, but it was solid.
Definitely solid. It's definitely a level where even a tiny mistake can cost you a couple seconds. Shout out to 99 life hype.
You can get on that platform and get the gem at the same time, but it's tricky. So that's Native Fortress. We're gonna go to Upstream next.
Upstream and then Jungle Rollers and then Stormy Ascent are the last 3 levels, and then the Great Hall.
Yep. So, Upstream invincibility is actually good here, too. The first one is, anyway.
Yeah, Upstream is the one level that requires the orange gem.
Yeah, from Generator Room. There's a box back here, which will give me a mask, give me invincibility. Normally, there's a second box is a bonus token. Normally, you have to like wait on that, but with invincibility, you don't have to, and you can make the leaf cycle. If you had to wait on that bonus token, though, you can't make the leaf cycle. But the invincibility makes making that leaf cycle really free because it gives you that speed boost.
It's nice because you normally, like, in the first passes, you can't get invincibility into this level because you come right out of boulders. Nice change to have invincibility at the beginning.
I'll also get the second one, but it's not as useful.
I would suppose it's useful for getting the crate under the first one.
Yeah, you can make this section a little faster. And you can get that bonus token quickly. This is an interesting bonus. I don't do it as fast as you can.
Yeah, this one's...
It's a little
it's
awkward.
just weird because of the way box breaking works.
It is solid. Solid enough bonus.
That's nice how you can pseudo spin bounce on the iron crates.
Actually walk off that bonus platform and just jump onto the leaf. Pretty cool
That's
stuff.
cool.
And you ride this to the end of the level. Where in the OG you can actually skip this, but you can't do that here, so... I mean, definitely want to take this mask into...
I'm partially thankful for no skip in this level. The G1's kind of help.
Yeah. We want to take the mask out of this level, so we're gonna wait. It's very good in Jungle Rollers.
It's extremely good in Jungle Rollers for sure. Alright, so yeah, the last level before Storm Ascent is Jungle Rollers, and it's pretty much a breather.
Yeah, it's just a breather before the hell.
Yeah, it's the calm before the storm.
And it's not that bad in all gems, but in 105% when you do the relic, it's very,
Oh, dude. Storm
very
Ascent
frustrating.
Relic's brutal.
It's very frustrating.
Storm Ascent's also one of the coolest levels in the game, though. So.
What is time?
Upon leaving upstream, you were at 141 flat.
Okay, yeah, this definitely isn't BBing, but
Still really solid time.
solid.
Probably gonna be like 10 to 15 minutes underestimate.
Oh yeah, I just set that estimate just to be sure, just in case any really bad re-enters had to happen.
Oh yeah, same.
I'm pretty consistent in this category. I just make dumb mistakes here and there.
Jungle Rollers, that level that we at the very beginning of the...
Here we are again. We get 3 boxes that we missed last time.
Someone find the green jump skip, please. Also notice that you wait on the invincibility in there because of the reason of if you break the mask crate, then you don't get the invincibility. You're already invincible.
I could have made it through those storms, but I thought the mask one was going to run out a little bit sooner than it did. And I also want to bring masks into Stormy Ascent, because it's Stormy Ascent, so I'm going to make sure I do that. One of the hardest levels in the whole entirety of this N.Sane trilogy, so... This bonus...
Uninitiated that don't know that's one, because there's really not much to talk about, to be honest. Stormy Ascent is a level that was removed from the original Crash Bandicoot 1 for being too difficult, and they didn't have time to tone it down. And the developers for the N.Sane trilogy eventually released it as DLC for Crash 1. And it's essentially retained its difficulty, but it also has a really neat bonus round that they added to it.
Yeah, the
It's
bonus
definitely
round
one
would
of
make
the-
it crash before.
Challenging as it is definitely one of the coolest levels in the series, in my opinion.
It's not
So-
as cool as the bonus round in Jungle Rollers, but it's a decent bonus.
Yeah, can't top Jungle Rollers. Yeah, it's really nice that Stormy Ascent is the optimal level to end on, because I think it's also probably the coolest level to end on.
So yeah, here's Stormy Ascent.
Yeah, you
Last
warp
level.
back to Island 3, and then you just do Stormy Ascent. And the hint also notes, good luck, you'll need it.
So I'm gonna grab invincibility at the very beginning of this. It's the only invincibility that you want to grab in this level. The other ones are not good.
Yeah, any other invincibility makes it so you have to win on birds. Yeah, this is, Slippery Climb, but harder, which is like Slippery climb's already hard, so. Yeah, in the original beta for the first Crash Bandicoot game, this was the last level in the game.
It's only fitting.
Yeah.
That it's the last level in the run.
I know for a time some people were putting it at the beginning of 105, but that's not optimal for a variety of reasons.
Yeah, it's just you don't get invincibility in jungle rollers if you do that, most likely.
And it's also more map movement. The
Yeah.
idea was that you do the Stormy Ascent relic early. That way, if you mess it up, you can just restart as opposed to killing a run at the very end. But it's not optimal in any sense.
Yeah, just practice it. Get good, essentially.
Yeah, it's the key to everything in speedrunning. Get good and don't play Crash 3.
Yeah, don't play Crash 3. We're gonna
Don't
see.
play the original Crash 3. NST Crash 3 is pretty alright.
Yeah, it's decent. I'm actually gonna get hit off this scientist here, just so I don't get this invincibility. It's a faster strat you can do there, but I don't do it. I'm gonna do a fast strat right here where you take damage off the spike, so you don't have to wait on these cycles. It takes forever for it to line up if you don't do that.
Yeah. The key to Stormy Ascent is knowing when to damage abuse and patience.
Yeah, essentially.
A lot of people find this level to be really hard because they try to blaze through it, but this is a level where it's hard, but I don't think I would call it unfair. In that it tests your knowledge of like what to do and when to do.
I got the skip, which is nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually something that carried over from the original game. Would drop down between those spikes and just skip a bit of.
It's not as easy as, oh, I got hit, which isn't good. I fucked up that last layer. I'm gonna wait on this cycle because I was slow. It also means I can't do a damage abuse in the bonus, which is a lot faster, but it's fine.
It also means you can show off the bonus in the intended way, and there is no bonus like this bonus round. It's
Cool.
more of a puzzle than a platform, and it's amazing.
Okay, a tad bit early there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that that can
the key
happen.
to that is that you have to like time your jump properly so that you jump away from the TNT and also land on the outline crate before it, like right when it spawns.
I don't normally lose my mask. I usually damage abuse off this, but there we go. Oops. Okay, I'm not supposed to jump on all those, but it doesn't really matter. I have to wait for them to blow up anyway. And that's a bonus, it's cool. And when you first do it casually, it can be a bit annoying to figure out, but once you get it down, it's not
But
so
once
bad.
you find it out, it's like you really appreciate how clever it is. Definitely evidence that if VV was to make their own Crash game again, they could do it.
So here's probably the hardest section coming up here. With
The rapid sliding ranks.
the key here is to stay on the towards the screen as close as you can, because you actually can't fall off. So you'll see me go closer to the screen so you don't get hit by the spikes. Okay,
First,
never mind. I didn't.
They look pretty decent, actually. Yeah, that is one downside.
It's very hard to like get to the edge and like get up there optimally, but if you go to the edge of the platform, it makes it getting hit by the spike a lot less likely to happen. But then you
Sometimes
run the
those-
chance of like not doing it fast enough to make the cycle, which is what happened there.
Yeah, sometimes those cycles desync, and it looked like they were desynced at that moment. And looking at it now, it looks much better. It doesn't. I don't think that happens too often, but it was
If they
definitely-
desync, that could have also been the issue.
Yeah, it was definitely desynced. I'm looking at it now; it looks completely different.
Okay.
Because they're like moving in and out at the same time, but before you died, they were off by like I want to say.
I'm gonna wait
a
another
second.
cycle here. That sometimes this guy can be desynced too with the platform. It's just best to wait that out.
If they desync, there's really not much you can do about it. Then deal with it, but it doesn't happen too often, thankfully.
It's unfortunate that it happened there, but it's all good. These birds can be tricky,
Yeah,
but if you know when to jump, you're fine.
Yeah, you have to be a little patient with it. If you go immediately, you're not.
And that's the last gem.
That's Stormy Ascent. And that's the last gem, so all that's left is the Great Hall.
Time is when I lose control of Crash, when I touch the curtain.
Yeah. When you touch the curtain and when the loading screen appears, time ends. So yeah. The Great Hall is the level where you're supposed to get to the end of it by getting every gem. Due to a glitch, you can actually get to it with only 20 gems, because it's not supposed to count colored gems, but for some reason it does.
You'll notice that the color gems have sometimes lower and sometimes higher heights, and you can notice like the color just a bit. They're all red for some reason, but depends on the order you get them into, where they are. Like that one's red. Those two are red for some reason. And you can also do pretty sweet corner cuts here. Make it a little bit faster. And that's time. And that's all gems.
Very nice.
What was time?
Stream hasn't caught up yet, so
Okay.
it looks like a low 150.
That's about 6 minutes off my PB, which isn't that bad considering what I had happen.
Revisit the generator and Jaws.
The main reason. Yeah, if that didn't happen, I could have easily PB'd there. That's very good. The things that I wanted to go right went right, like the skips.
Well, timer didn't stop. I hope the shadow didn't die.
Oh, the timer never stopped?
Yeah.
Rip. Is anybody in here still?
Like yell at shadow, yes.
You get to learn all about their lives after the game.
Yeah.
While we're here, I'll show off some of the stuff I was talking about earlier. I'll show off the hyper jump, and I'll show off the castle machinery out of bounds.
I hope you didn't fall asleep. That could be problematic.
Yeah, he was tired. I'll prolong it as much as I can. Still have time to work with.
While we're waiting, I'm going to use the bathroom for my run.
I'm not running anymore. I'm not going to go fast here, but I'm going to show off the out of bounds here, and I'll show off hyper jump. One second.